So hi all, welcome back to discussion on quantum mechanics 2. Today we are going to start a new module on the quantum mechanics, which is the theory of scattering. And it's a scattering phenomena. If you go for the introduction about the scattering phenomena is very important phenomena in physics. Why it is important is actually it gives the information about the interaction between the particles. Okay, so it gives the information about the interaction between particles. So like the Rutherford scattering. So in Rutherford scattering, he has incident the electron beam onto the target gold foil, and from which actually he could able to find or he studied the interaction between the electron and nucleus. Okay, so not only gives the information about the interaction, we also get the information about the constant particles inside the target. For example, what are the constant of nucleus? What are the constant of so a nucleus may contain the neutron and protons, and what are the constant of the proton? So etc. So discovery of quarks. So all these things. So they not only the interaction, but also the information about the constant particles would also get from the study of the scattering phenomena. Okay, so typically a scattering process can be represented schematically as follows. So schematical representation. So schematically we have some incident particles. So this incident particle will be targeted towards some scattering center. Okay, so there will be some scattering center over here. Okay, so from this scattering center, the this incident particles will be scattered in some direction. Okay, along different directions. Suppose we have taken this direction as a reference. Okay, so this direction we can specify. So how will you specify it? So we can use the spherical polar coordinate systems. Okay, so there would be some angle theta and angle phi. Okay, and in order to study the scattering process, we'll define a solid angle. Okay, so we'll define a solid angle d omega, and we'll study how many particles are going through this solid angle. Okay, so we can define solid angle at different theta and phi, and that will give the angular distribution of the scattered particle. Okay, so these are the scattered particles. Okay, now this phenomena has to be said to be scattering uh, only if the incident particle and scattered particle must be of same type. Okay, so the incident particle and scattered particle must be of same type. So if the type of particle changes, then it is not the scattering problem. Okay, now this scattering, this is the overall picture of scattering. Now this scattering we can classify into two categories. It's a classification of scattering. So what are the classifications? So for the first one is called direct scattering problem. So in the direct scattering problem, so actually we know about the incident particle. So we know about incident particle. And we also know about the interaction between the incident particle and the scattering center. So we know about incident particle and the interaction between incident particle and scattering center. Okay, so then what we don't know, about the distribution of the scattering particle. So that we'll study in this direct scattering problem. Okay, so from this, what we can do is we can predict angular distribution of scattering particle. So if this is the case, then the problem is called the direct scattering problem. Okay, and we have another category of problems, which is a very common type of scattering problem in physics, which is called indirect scattering problem. So most of our applications of scattering will come under this category. It's an indirect scattering problem. So what is such problems? So here we know about incident particle. So we know about incident particle and the angular distribution of scattering and angular distribution of scattering particle. Okay, so we know about incident particle and angular distribution of scattering particle. Then what we don't know? So we don't know about the scattering center. Okay, so from these two information, we can study about the scattering center. So we get the information about scattering center. Okay, so the interaction between incident and the target particle can be predicted. Okay, so in other words, we can say that we get information about the scattering center. So that is, we get information about scattering center. Okay, so this is what we want in most of the cases. That is, we know about the incident particle. We know about from the angular. We know about the angular distribution. That is, from the detector, we can study the angular distribution of scattering particle. And from the study of angular distribution of scattering particle, we get the information about what type of particle is there as the scattering center. Okay, so the most of the application, the medical applications, has come under this category. For example, all type of tomography. Okay, so what are the applications of this? One second. So the applications. So all type of tomography, like computerized tomography, CT scan, and positron emission tomography, PET scan, and oil exploration. So all these applications comes under this indirect scattering problem. Okay, So these are the two type of classifications of the scattering studies: the direct scattering problem and the indirect scattering problem. Okay. So next, we can discuss the important quantity that is involved in the study of the scattering problem, which is called the scattering cross section. Scattering cross section. Okay, so we already discussed that in the previous page here. This is our schematic representations. So let me copy this. Okay, so this is schematic representation of our scattering. We have incident particle and a scattering center here. So this is our target, and we have the scattered particle. Okay, now the incident particle can be characterized by the incident flux. I can denote by symbol JINC. So JINC is called the incident flux, which is the number of particle crossing unit area in unit time. Okay, and what is this d omega? D omega is the infinitesimal solid angle. Infinitesimal solid angle. Okay. Now, here, in order to study the scattering problem, we'll define the scattering cross section, and we'll define first. We can define the infinitesimal scattering cross section or differential scattering cross section is denoted by symbol d sigma by d omega, and d sigma by d omega is defined to be 1 upon JINC dn upon d omega. So d omega is a solid angle. Okay, and what is dn? dn is the number of particle crossing solid angle d omega, which is at angle theta phi, solid angle d omega in unit time. Okay, so if you consider as a small solid angle d omega at an angle theta phi, then how many particles are going through this solid angle? How many particles are going through this solid angle in unit time? So that is what is denoted by symbol dn. Okay, so dn upon d omega divided by 1 by JINC. So this is called the differential scattering cross section. So this definition we can use to quantify the scattering. So how will you define this? So differential scattering cross section is defined as the number of particles scattered into an element of solid angle d omega in the direction theta phi per unit time per incident flux per solid angle. Okay, so the number of particles crossing through a unit solid angle, the number of particles crossing through a unit solid angle in unit time per incident flux. Okay, that is what is the definition for the differential scattering cross section. Okay, so d sigma by d omega is 1 by j inc dn upon d omega. So it is number of particles crossing unit solid angle per unit time per unit incident flux. Okay, now what would be the dimension of d sigma by d omega? So d sigma by d omega, if you look at the dimension, d sigma by d omega has a dimension of area. Okay, so dimension of d sigma by d omega as area. So that is why this d sigma by d omega is called by the name of cross section. And since it is a very small quantity and it's called the differential scattering cross section. Okay, so this d sigma by d omega is called differential scattering cross section. Okay, now what about the angular dependence of d sigma by d omega? So obviously this dn will depending upon the angle theta phi. Okay, if you look at the previous page, this dn must depending upon the angle. So at some angle dn would be different, and whenever theta phi changes, the dn changes. So obviously d sigma by d omega would also depend on theta phi. So d sigma by d omega, so it will be a function of the function of theta phi. So d sigma by d omega would be function of theta phi. It's called the differential scattering cross section. Then what would be the total scattering cross section? So it's a very obvious thing. So total scattering cross section we can define by symbol sigma. That would be the integral of d sigma by d omega. So it would be integral of d sigma by d omega over the entire area. So sine theta d theta d phi. Okay. So this d omega, which is the solid angle, and that can be defined as sine theta d theta d phi. Okay, how will you define d omega? D omega is the cross sectional area by r square. D omega, this cross sectional area would be r d theta r sine theta d phi divided by r square. So that would give sine theta d theta d phi. Okay, so the total scattering cross section would be the integral of the differential scattering cross section over the all solid angle. Okay, so that is what about the introduction about the scattering problem. So what we have discussed till now is we have just discussed what is the importance of the scattering in physics. The scattering problem is important in order to know the microscopic the constituent of the particles. For example, earlier we don't know about atoms, and we have got this study of the internal structure of the atoms by the scattering problems, and after that we could know about even the atoms has the different constant particles. It has electron, nucleus, and there are some particles inside the nucleus, and even inside the nucleons there are other particles. So all these information is revealed by the study of the scattering problems, and in the worldwide there are many high energy experiment which deals about such experimental studies. Okay, so in this context, we are just going to give a theoretical background about the scattering studies, and the schematically, the scattering studies we can represent it like this. So we have incident particle and a target center and a target. So it's called scattering center or target, and the particles will be scattered from this target. And in order to come this problem under the scattering, this scattering particle and incident particle must be same. Okay, then we have classified our problem into two category, that is direct scattering problem and indirect scattering problem. So for theoretical purpose, we usually interested in direct scattering problem, that is we knows about the incident particle and we knows about the interaction, and we can predict how would be the particle get scattered. But for experimental purposes and for the application purposes, the important thing will come under the indirect scattering problem, in which we don't know about the information about the target particle or the scattering center. It is from the information of the incident particle and the angular distribution of the scattering particle, we could able to predict, or we could able to get the extract the information about the target center, the scattering centers. Okay, so that is what is called the indirect scattering problem. Okay, so most of our application comes under this category. And finally, we have discussed a quantity which is important for the study of the scattering. And first, we have introduced difference scattering cross section, which is the number of particle crossing unit solid angle per unit time per the incident flux. So JINC, it is called incident flux. It is the number of particle crossing unit area in unit time. Now, if you look at the dimension of this d sigma by d omega, it has a dimension of area. So that is why the term, the name cross section has come for d sigma by d omega, and it is small quantity. It is uh, this cross section through a very small solid angle, so that is why it is called differential scattering cross section. And obviously it will, depending upon the angle theta phi that is at different angles, we'll get different scattering cross sections. Okay, so this d sigma by d omega obviously will be a function of theta phi. Okay, now we can find the total scattering cross section. So total scattering cross section, we have to integrate this d sigma by d omega over all infinitesimal solid angles. Okay, now this d omega in spherical coordinate system, you can represent this d omega as sine theta d theta d phi. So the total scattering cross section would be just integral of the differential scattering cross section over the all solid angle. Okay, so actually what is this sigma is, so this is sigma is nothing but integral d sigma by d omega over all omegas, all d omega. So that d omega I have just rewritten here. Okay, so redefined in spherical coordinate system. So that's about the total scattering cross section. Okay, so obviously the more important thing is differential scattering cross section, because that gives the angular distribution. But total scattering cross section may not be much important for us, because it does not give the angular distribution, because this gives the total cross section. So it will not give the detailed information about how the particles are scattered at different angles. So the differential scattering cross section is very important quantity, the quantitative quantity for the study of the scattering. Okay, so with this, we stop our discussion for today's topic, and in the next class, we'll discuss about the scattering of the spinless particle. Okay, so scattering of spinless particles. So before going to that, what you can do is, in your textbook, there is one relationship between the scattering cross section in lab frame and center of mass frame. So you can just go through it. It is not part of our syllabus, but it is nice to know thing. Okay, because we can study the scattering problem in the different frame of reference. So the lab frame is our frame, and other one is the center of mass frame. So the The easiness of center of mass frame is in center of mass frame we can convert a two body problem into a one body problem. So the problem will become slightly simplified. Okay, so there is certain mathematical steps, certain algebra involved in how to connect the differential scattering cross section from the lab frame and from the center of mass frame. So that you please fit and better you can write it down as an assignment later. So I will give a link in your Google Classroom to submit. It's not as an assignment. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this lecture, and in next class we'll start the scattering study of spinless particle. Thank you.